Governor Cox, thanks for being with us. I'm wondering what stands out to you, what you know about the suspect right now. Is there something about his history that really stands out to you?
Well, I think maybe what stands out is that nothing stands out the way you would normally expect. This is a good family, a normal childhood, all of those things that you would hope would never lead to something like this, and sadly it did. So there's so much we still don't know, but certainly there was a radicalization that happened in a fairly short amount of time. And again, that's not too. Sometimes when we talk about people getting radicalized, that's to blame others instead of the person. And I don't want to take away that agency. This person made a terrible decision and will pay the price for that. But I do think it is important and instructive that we try to do as much as possible to learn the types of influences that would lead someone to make just such an awful, evil decision.
And I want to talk to you about that because you've talked very strongly about social media. I don't do a lot of social media, but I was looking at it today, and there's endless conspiracy theories about other people involved. There's videos of people making hand signals that seem to be people wiping their hair or adjusting their hats. Do you have any evidence that there was anybody else involved in this?
Absolutely none. And again, the investigation is still ongoing. There's a lot we don't know that we're still piecing together. But there's enough that we do know that makes it very clear that this was one person, and a very again, tragic, terrible, awful decision, but no one else involved.
You've called this a watershed event in our history, and that the chapter is still being written about what kind of a watershed event is it, what direction the country goes from here. Can you just talk about that a little bit, and how do we all help write that history?
Yeah, so to me, I look at this. It feels like something happened. This is big, and it's big for a reason. Again, somebody who was involved in political speech, political discourse, doing the very thing that is the foundation for our democratic republic, and then losing their life, which makes it harder for all of us to do the thing that we should do, and that's dangerous in a different type of way. And so the question is, we've certainly been building to this. I don't think it's a surprise to most people that something terrible like this could happen. President Trump was almost assassinated a year ago. So the question is this the end of a very dark era? Does this wake us up in a way that we actually change? Or is this just the beginning of something far, far worse? And what will write that history, what that will depend on is all of us. It's not any one person who's going to change this. If we're waiting for a leader from Washington, D.C. or Utah or anywhere else, then it will never happen. And that's why I just feel so strongly that it's incumbent on every single one of us to look into our souls and decide, do we want this to continue? Are we going to be the part that continues, or are we going to try something different? And that's the only way we're going to break out of this fever dream.
As you know, there are entire, media ecosystems which profit from outrage and which pump out outrage and that is part of the algorithm. You have influencers on all sides of the aisle, but we've heard, very well-known ones on the right. Even one commentator on Fox News talking about war. When you hear that word being used, war, what do you say?
Well, we say stuff like that, and that's normal. It's been part of the vernacular. We use it in sports terms sometimes. We talk about a battle, a war, right? And we now do it in political terms. And I don't think most people actually mean it, because war is my kids and my grandkids getting shot in the street. That's no one wants that. The problem is that there are people out there who, when they hear that, they actually believe it, and it leads to things like we're seeing today. But again, people are angry, and rightfully so. They don't need to be lectured by me or CNN or anybody else when they're feeling anger. But my question is, what do we do with that? And that's why I think again, Charlie's words are so important on this. He did preach nonviolence. Whether you loved him or whether you hated him, he truly believed that that talking to each other would help us prevent violence, and that we desperately need more of that. And so that's all I'm trying to do is trying to turn that introspection in each of us. Me too, by the way. I screw up all of the time. The problem, Anderson, is that the incentive structure in social media, and quite frankly, the incentive structure in politics right now, it doesn't lead to depolarization. The radicalization that happens through those algorithms on social media. And again, that's why Charlie said, when things get dark and rough, to put your phone down, to read scripture, to hug your family. That's what we should be doing.
Well, I actually want to put the social media post that he said, because you quoted this earlier. He said this in June. I'm putting it up on the screen. He said, when things are moving very fast and people are losing their minds, it's important to stay grounded, turn off your phone, read scripture, spend time with friends, and remember, internet fury is not real life. It's going to be okay. It's interesting, this suspect, from what I've, read, his parents are registered Republicans. It seems like, he has a good family. I'm not sure how much he is online and living online, but we have certainly seen many young men getting lost online. What do you do about that as a legislator? I mean, some schools are kind of slow to really figure out plans for social media, for phone use in schools even.
It's the greatest mistake we've made in the last decade, and I'm very proud that Utah is leading the nation. We passed the most comprehensive social media bills 2 years ago. We're still fighting in the courts over those bills. We passed a ban on cell phones in classrooms this year. We have to do this. The research is incredibly clear. Jonathan Haidt, who I know you know, has been on the programs here. His book, Anxious Generation, it lays that out very clearly. But we really are pushing, and AI is only going to make this worse, especially for our young men. We've got an entire generation that is struggling, that has been lost. They've lost purpose and meaning, and we've got to find purpose and meaning again.
Governor Spencer Cox, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Anderson.